And welcome back, everybody. David Burney in the booth with you for this exciting match tonight. Bex Kenna, who's looking very impressive, won all her matches. But Jocelyn has won 2 as well. They're both 1 and 2 respectively in their Group B. So if Jocelyn can take this one over Bex, it's going to make it quite interesting. Just looking at the stats here, I think even though if Jocelyn is defeated in this one, she should be okay to be moving on to the knockout round. Ashley, thanks for tuning in. Great that you're enjoying seeing the great live snooker action here. We are making history this weekend, as this is the World Women's Snooker U.S. Open, the first ever snooker ranking event in the United States of America. Very impressive. Very happy to be here. We're all happy that you're tuning in. If you have any questions or comments on the stream, feel free to reach out to us. Jocelyn's going to call up Doc Brown and get the DeLorean. She wanted to go back in time on that. That's not a great shot to leave Bex. Bex is full of lots of skill here. So, the stream tomorrow starts at 3 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Dr. Snooker. There will be some matches before there, but we have some broadcasting issues that we will be starting the stream a little later in the day. But if you are in the Seattle area, come and visit us at Ox, as the admission is free and the drinks are cool. Yes, Ashley, that's a beautiful dream to think there will be more snooker in the U.S. I think Mike and his team are just doing a great job. That's what we need, just exposure. You know, people can actually see what this game of snooker is, because really you don't see a lot of snooker tables, say in a bar or a pub or something like that. You always see the pool table and someone playing 8-ball or 9-ball, but snooker's a little special thing. You don't see it every day down here in America and as well in North America. You might see it a bit more in Canada, as Canada does have quite a rich history going back. They've kind of faltered a little bit over the years, as they haven't had a professional player on the Pro Tour for many years, but they did have the 1980 world champion Cliff Thorburn over there, and Kirk Stevens, and Bill Werbenick, Jim White, Alain Robidoux, Brady Golan. So there's even some more over there. Bob Chaperone, the UK champion of 1990. So hopefully, with this exposure of this event, will inspire boys and girls of all ages, and men and women, to pick up a cue and try this great game of snooker. And I know Mike Dominguez has made a strong and conscious decision that he'd like to see the US of A over there on the Pro Tour. Definitely helps with Ahmad Ali, who will be playing in next week's U.S. Nationals. He made his Crucible debut this past spring at the World Seniors Snooker Championship. The first American player ever to play at the Crucible.
Yeah, congrats to Ahmed Ali on that accomplishment. Been decades in the making for him. He's been a good, solid U.S. player for some time now, managing the room over at the New York Athletic Club. It'd be good to see him in here.
Yeah, I think I saw Ahmed at a Richler Cup many moons ago, maybe 2017 in Burlington, Ontario, Canada. These pockets are really tight, even tough for Bex. As that red rattled in the jaw, she was very impressive with her rest last night. Quick little update on that Marissa Dew and Stephanie Drakulik match. It's 47-41 for Stephanie, and only the black is left on the table. So when the result comes through there, I'll be sure to let you know. Once again, Jocelyn is... I think that red does go by. The one by the black should go into the top left corner pocket.
Would have done well to miss the black on the way up, but she's got the blue sitting there. Maybe that was the plan all along. Have the black ball as a backstop for the blue.
Yeah, maybe just an insurance thing there. You know, if she's flicked off the black or just didn't hit that black as solid, she would have been on the black. But the blue is a saving grace here. It's a little uncharacteristic of Bex. She did play early today, one of the first matches of the day, and now she's playing in the latter part of the day. So you just got to shake off a few of the cobwebs. Maybe she did a little bit of sightseeing this afternoon.
So the women's tour is actually a pathway to the pro tour. It does have amateur players as well as professional players. But as a way to get on the tour, it serves its purpose. It's a really nice advantage to the World Women's Snooker Tour. There are several pathways to the Pro Tour, and this is one of them. This is why I like this tour in Seattle and in America. We have quite a few women players who can cue the ball really well.
Little spattering of applause over there. You might have heard through the airways. Stephanie Drakulik nailed a long black to tie that match, one frame apiece.
Almost on cue, talking about the women players in the Seattle, Pacific Northwest area, and Stephanie drains a long putt.
I think it's nice to see as well that we did get some of the English players come over, Laura, as some of the American players, and we do have a player from Canada. The game of snooker is not so familiar with them, and there's a lot of intrinicities. To work on that one. That's a tough word.
How do you spell that?
Yeah, how do you spell it? How do you say it? Who knows? But as you'll see sometimes over the course of this weekend, you'll see a little bit more of the etiquette from the British players. They know, when a player has made a great shot, you'll see a little tap on the table, and that's a great teaching aid for our American and Canadian players that aren't as familiar with the game of snooker, as well as concessions. There's a point where just a frame is just out of reach, and some new players would kind of just play on because they know, well, you got to play until all the balls are gone. But the more etiquette-wise idea is once the frame is fully out of reach, it's pack up and let's go for another time in a new frame.
Yeah, it just speaks to the education process. Here at Ox, we don't have a cost barrier between a pool table and a snooker table. We give lessons, and in those lessons, we do talk about etiquette. We do talk about the normalities of the game and the tradition. And there are differences, as you said, wanting to play to the last ball, not wanting to concede.
But there's many wonderful videos out there. If you are interested in getting in the game of snooker, YouTube has a bunch of just, the basic rules. Obviously, if you're new...
Snooker Canada actually has a nice video on the rules.
They do? Yeah. Some people, might be newcomers to this game and be like, well, they're hitting a red and then they hit a color. But the red didn't come up, but the other color did come up. So there's a lot of interesting rules in the game. As we say to our newcomers, the object is obviously hit a red, then you have to hit a color, and then that color will come up, then you're on another red, followed by color, back and forth until all the reds are down, and then there's a sequence where the colors will go down that you have to pot. If you're in that situation where it's close, as many of these matches are, you'll notice, I think, over the course of this weekend that a lot come down to the colored balls.
Yeah, Donald. In the round robin, we don't have as many refs as we would like. So we do have floating refs. Dave Daly is doing a great job being a floating ref for snookers and whatnot. But for the most part, the opponent will spot the color balls. And sometimes the player will spot them themselves. So there is a bit of a standard gap here in America in terms of educating referees and educating coaches, and that's something that Ox is committed to doing, as well as Snooker Canada. I took a class up in Richmond, BC at Jonathan Sun's Top 147 Club with Michaela Tab on being certified to be a ref. But as you can hear, I'm in the booth instead of on the table reffing. But for the knockout round, we will have, that was a great shot. We will have a dedicated ref for those matches.
Yeah, it definitely, for all these events, it takes an army to make them all go off smoothly. And we're always looking for people to enlist. So, Donald, if you like this game, feel free to reach out if you're in America or Canada or anywhere, actually. The Game of Snooker is always looking for people to help out. And that explanation was given by Mike Dominguez of how he came into the game and learning all the rules. And myself, I'm David Burney.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Donald. There is a floating ref, so when somebody is snookered, they call him over, and he takes it from there. And once the players have gotten out of the snooker situation, more than likely another table is calling his attention.
Yeah, and he's also mentioned about the foul and the miss. In this tournament, there is a maximum of 2 putbacks, so that's 3 attempts. And obviously on the third attempt, it has to be a worthwhile attempt. You can't just roll up to a shot. And as well, they do call over our roving referee, Dave Daly, just to take a look, to make sure where the cue ball is, so if it is respottable. And as well, he is there to judge, in his opinion, if it is a miss. Because up in Canada, sometimes we don't have roving referees as well. So there isn't that judgment call. It kind of leads into the line of the opponent to make the call, but most often they are put back. And, well, the game is called snooker, so you should be able to be rewarded handsomely if you do lay a beautiful snooker. So, and as well, another thing that we do is with no referees, we do put a coin by the cue ball. So it makes for a good respot. But remember, if a ball's coming towards that cue, it's the player's responsibility to pick up that cue or they'll be penalized. So
the total prize money for this tournament is $6,000.
yeah, I believe I know the high break prize is $100, $100 US, and I believe the winner of this tournament walks away with $1,200. But more importantly, their name is going to be in history books for the first ever World Women's Snooker U.S. Open champion.
Yeah, we definitely call these humble beginnings. Not so humble. 6,000 is nothing to sneeze at for the first ever women's tournament here in America. So next year, we want to raise that bar. And the following year, we want to raise that bar. And we need your help and support to do that. Join us in this journey. Come along with us.
So one thing that Barry Hearn, the great promoter from England that really did wonders for the game of snooker over in England, don't get complacent. You always got to keep fighting, just up the game. As I know that's your mantra, Mike. You're always looking for changing things, how to get things better, and all that.
Yeah, I'm no Barry Hearn, but I believe that we can always improve. And with the team we have here at Ox, I have no doubt that we can always improve. And that takes a lot of humility, a little bit of intelligence, and a lot of support.
And Donal, some of the higher ranked female players are actually, who are on the Pro Tour, are playing in the Northern Ireland qualifiers right now. So it just actually really timed out that Bex was able to make it over here, as her qualifier match was early, and I think she was unfortunately unsuccessful over there. She is also sponsored by Ox, and so she made the trip, but it is also a long trip to come over. As we just explained a little bit, the prize money, it's not all the riches in the world. As you know, people got to support and you got to come over. So it's possible maybe some of them, we're just seeing that it is quite a lengthy way to go. I know the women will be having an Australian Open. I don't know how many players are going to be going over there. So it just comes down to sometimes, just the dollars and cents and being able to make it worth, as still, an amateur game and on the women's side, and they all have other jobs as well.
Yeah, and just to speak on E and Mink, it was a timing issue, really. We announced the dates for this tournament a little late. There was a lot of planning involved, so the visa process takes a little bit longer than expected, especially these days. But next year, we are planning to give all the players as much notice as possible.
Sure, from personal experience, it was a little bit of a longer drive down from Vancouver than I expected coming to Seattle. That border was a bit clogged on Thursday night, so.
Hours.
At some points, it felt like days. But actually, yes, we'd love to see some more sponsorship out there. Maybe we can find some, organizations geared to promoting female sport and stuff. So it's a work in progress, just like your snooker game is always a work in progress, and life is a work in progress. But we're happy that everybody's tuning in, and that's what's going to help us as well. Getting a lot of viewership, people enjoying the stream, and sponsors will see that and seeing that the numbers are there and the support is there. So maybe we'll put some financial support in exchange for, their logo to be up on the stream. So baby steps, shall we say, Mike? Baby steps.
Yeah. We had some pretty big baby steps in this tournament with the sponsorships from Lippmann Lights. They're illuminating these tables very well. The players are super impressed with them. They haven't seen anything like it. The snooker players from Europe. What a pot. Holy mackerel. So yeah, it takes sponsorships like Lippmann Lights, who, is well known in the pool world, but I think does have a place in the snooker world. And then, of course, Strachan, the cloth, gave a sponsorship to this tournament as well as next week's U.S. Nationals. And Microsoft made a big contribution for this tournament. And looks like Jocelyn is calling this one. What do you think? You want to go over to the Marissa?
I think there's a concession there, and as well in between the frames here while Daly gets it all set up. Let's just take a little peek over there to see how Stephanie and Marissa are doing. It looks like it's 10-10 in frame 3 over there. We'll just quickly kind of update the score with our scorekeeper. And as soon as the frame is set up and ready on table 1 with Bex and Jocelyn, we'll get right back there. great technology that Mike and his team has over here that we can have two tables being able to view.
Yeah, just before Christian left, we set up the second camera. Christian is on vacay, but he's helping out remotely. Definitely always on call there, Christian. Let's head back to Beck's table. Beck and Jocelyn.
Jan, I'll pass along that message to Mary. I think she enjoyed playing her friend Emma, but I don't think she really enjoyed the result, as all these women are fierce competitors when they get on the table. Obviously, as we saw with Emma and Mary this weekend, they looked the best of friends, looked like they travel well together, but at some point they're going to be opponents in the tournament, and there was no love lost there. They were battling it out till the end. But both of them have moved on to the knockout side, so we'll just see how that plays out. There might be a rematch tomorrow.
You know, I have to say it's great having Bex here in Seattle. She's a great player, two, a good person, and just a really hard worker. She has an amazing story. She didn't have her own table, so she opened up a snooker shop, put a table in there, and started to make money off of it. Just, just making things happen, making what she needs, just manufacturing it in front of her. It was really great to meet her in person. I was hoping to do that when we went over to Sheffield. And lo and behold, we had a nice conversation. She didn't have a sponsorship at the time. And I tried to keep my emotions in check because I felt like, one, she should have had a sponsorship. And two, what an opportunity for Ox to step in and sponsor her. Jamie, my wife, plays snooker, and her and I follow Bex. Before we actually met, we follow her on Facebook and watch her coaching tips. And I think I've even messaged her for Jamie. And Bex actually responded that we felt that was actually kind of cool. So she's very approachable. Oh, my goodness. That's unfortunate for Jocelyn. So
She had safety dreams there, but unfortunate. Cue ball kissed into the green and put it into the bottom of the pocket.
something's wrong with the score here. Okay, that's better.
Yeah, it's
Apologies. Brains being split in three.
Yeah, interesting. A lot of the British players are saying they have the old-fashioned wood and metal scoreboards. Just they slide the points here and there. So Mike has equipped his room with the digital ones. They're a bit. They can be a bit finicky, and with like anything electrical, it takes a little bit to find out how they work. But then when they work, they can work well into your advantage. So a bit of a learning curve for the women in the tournament coming
There's
from
the
Britain.
black ball going. That is unlucky again. It is unfortunate when you're playing somebody like Bex, and to have those type of unfortunate things to happen are kind of soul crushing a bit. But I know Jocelyn, and she probably feels bad about 5 seconds ago, and now she's ready to fight again.
Sure, but these reds are really lovely spread out here. This is
Will she
really
get another chance?
This could be a very large, profitable break here for Bex. Looks like it's going to go back on its spot.
Might need Dave.
Guess we need a bit more.
For the American players, Jocelyn is well versed in snooker. She has played it in China as well as Chinese 8-ball. She can handle it.
Donnell, you pose a good question. Why the Canadian scene has kind of dropped off the Pro Tour, as they did have such a strong contingent of players over there in the 80s. And I don't know, I feel like if I start asking around back in Canada, I might get fitted for cement shoes or something like that. But we're doing our best up there as well. Hopefully, things can go in cycles. I just wonder if it maybe came from the top. I'm not here to, criticize whatever anyone has done, but if you look back into the history of snooker, you have heard, and I know our friend Dave Hendon on his podcast has mentioned at times that actually the Pro Tour of snooker in the early 2000s was in a lot of trouble. There was just up at the top a little bit of mismanagement. There wasn't many events going on. It was in some serious dire straits. And then Barry Hearn came along and really kind of turned it around, increased the purse money for the tournaments, increased the number of tournaments. So maybe that just had the trickle effect as well into Canada, that there just wasn't the strong scene in Britain as there was. And it just trickled down. So, but hopefully things can turn around, and people are seeing snooker a lot more. As I do remember seeing snooker in Canada as a young lad back in the late 80s, early 90s. And then all of a sudden it did disappear. It wasn't until maybe in the last 8 or so years that this invention called the internet started putting up live sports, and we were all able to find the game of snooker. Unfortunately, sometimes it was on maybe not the friendliest of sites, but now that this company DAZN, pretty sure you've heard of it, they broadcast, or they've got the license for North America to broadcast all the professional snooker tournaments. And when I was over in England and at the World Championships, Mike was over there as well. I had a discussion with Steve Dawson, who's now the chair. He's taken over for Barry Hearn, and they're fully aware, and they're seeing the numbers that the zone comes, and they know that Canadians and Americans are tuning in to the pro circuit. So they're probably really happy with this tournament, what Mike's doing, and hopefully this will just open the door for more U.S. events and events in Canada, and maybe even a pro stop over there, as there used to be the Canadian Open was an event that was in Canada a while back when snooker was just in its heyday, like back in the 80s. It was the sport to be. It actually was a stronger sport than football. We call it soccer.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about those numbers with DAZN or DAZN and with Matchroom. I thought she was going to make that one. Those numbers are, I would guess, off just a little bit. I think there's more people watching than those numbers say, because Americans and Canadians, North Americans, are willing to pay the money to watch these streams. But sometimes we have to use a VPN to be in the right country to watch certain things, because we don't have full coverage in North America. So sometimes there's no way to watch.
True.
So just know that those numbers are low, whatever you're getting. So let's bring Eurosport snooker here to America.
True. ESPN, I hope you're listening. And yes, actually, snooker is quite popular in Australia. One reason, Neil Robertson, a fantastic player from Australia, 2010 world champion. So that's another thing that will help a sport grow when youngsters have a fellow countryman or countrywoman to look up to and idolize and want to do that. And Donal, you're quite right with Canada. They won actually the very first Snooker World Cup. And to tie it full circles, obviously, with there was an Australian tournament in 1982. And in the semifinals, there was 3 Canadians, Cliff Thorburn, Kurt Stevens, Bill Werbernick, and one other gentleman named Doug Mountjoy. So they had 3 Canadians in the semifinals. So quite impressive, and it's a little sad that things went downhill, but hey, everything can turn around. And you're right about the time zone. That makes it difficult so much for us, definitely on the West Coast, as the night games usually are around lunchtime for us. With the time difference, most of the time it's in 7 p.m. British time, and that would be 11 a.m. And some of you in the earlier matches, when you get into the World Championships that are at 10 a.m. British time, that's 2 o'clock in the morning for us on the West Coast and Seattle area. So,
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and there is a function called on demand. Eurosport has a great on demand. You can just rewatch them, just as long as they're available. We can watch them. I know Matchroom has a few games that are on demand in case you miss something. But yeah, let's use this technology properly to grow this sport in North America.
yeah, that's what I would like to, if anyone is from DAZN or any, people out there listening know DAZN, sometimes, they are doing a press and draw of bringing it to us live. But then sometimes when the match is done, poof, it's gone. It's it would be nice.
It's not gone. It's somewhere.
It's somewhere in the ether world or something
we know
like
it
that.
Exists.
But it would be kind of nice if they could they keep the finals up sometimes, but sometimes some of us want to watch, the daily events, like, maybe a quarterfinal match they were looking to tune into. And hopefully DAZN could keep them up. So then, when we're done our workday over here on the West Coast, we can have a nice night and
stream them on the club TV. So at Ox, we don't show baseball games, we don't show football games or basketball games. There's plenty of places in Seattle to watch all those sports. What we show here is pool, carom, snooker. We show cue sports. But we are limited on what we can show and expose our customers to and our members. So a little bit of help there would be appreciated.
no lacrosse.
No, this is not a lacrosse club. Yeah. That's hilarious, though.
Well, it is Canada's national sport, so.
Is it really?
It is.
I did not know.
Yes. Hockey has been, I think, Canada's national winter sport. There might be a little bit of debate, but I remember for the longest time that lacrosse was Canada's national sport. And Ox Billiards is a great club in the Seattle area, in the Capitol Hill area. But Mike Dominguez is my fellow commentator here. And maybe, Mike, you can let them know about how the whole Ox Billiards came to be. What is Ox?
Ox is a private and public club. So we have, for our members, we have around 76 members, and they have 24-hour access to the club. So we have members in here early in the morning, late at night, in the middle of the afternoon, whenever we're closed. We have member days on Mondays and Wednesdays, so we're closed to the public on those days, but members still have access. And we have a lot of leagues for pool and snooker on our public days. We give pool lessons, snooker lessons, and what we want to do is raise the standard. So we do give lessons for beginners, and we feed them into the proper league, and then we have tournaments so they can practice put to practice what they've learned. And then from leagues, they typically go into tournaments and become members and practice on the off hours and just get better and better. It's all about the mastery motive, mastery purpose. I think the author Dan Pink writes about the mastery purpose. We're strong believers in that purpose. It's why people put so much energy on the weekends into things like playing the guitar, learning pool, doing art, just things that earn zero money, $0. It's for the love of it. As David Burney says, amateur is for the love of the game. And so that's what Ox is here to do, raise that standard.
Yes, amateurs do it for the love, professionals get paid. Yes, Canada.
Nothing wrong with getting paid.
No, there's that nice balance. There's not many people in the world. There's some very fortunate people that get paid for what they love to do. Yes, Canada did invent basketball. That is correct. Or basketball, sorry. That is correct. So Canada does have a rich history of a wide variety of sports.
I love these questions, Donald. I don't know if I've ever met you, but you're teeing these questions right up. Yes, absolutely. With the support of Empire Billiards, CCU, and Ox, we've developed the Washington State Snooker League. We've also developed the Seattle Snooker Open. So the two clubs, we work together in growing the sport in this area. So yeah, each season, the Snooker League grows. We will begin our third season at the end, or after, I should say, the Nationals. And we already have more interest than the second. The second season had more interest than the first. We're getting a lot of pool players transferring over to snooker. Not necessarily transferring for good, but using it as another discipline to improve their game.
And then as well, myself being up in Vancouver, I work with Mike as well, just letting him know of what's going on in Vancouver. As a lot of, I've seen American players come up and participate in our events, maybe not so much of leagues. We do have some leagues going into Vancouver. This will be our second year of kicking off a league. But we've had the BC Open, which has always welcomed American players to play in. And obviously, we've seen a little shortage of it as that pandemic goes around. But now that things are easing up, I know a lot of Canadian players are probably going to be itching to come down for the Seattle Open because they've seen our broadcast that we did last year, and I think their carpets were soaking wet. They were just drooling over these tables because they are just fantastic and play wonderfully.
I'm drooling over that shot. This is a nice break by Jocelyn. She is a competitor. Does that go back? Just barely. That's unfortunate.
Seems like she's all right. Yeah, I think she can get by the blue there for that red. She's going to have to use the rest. Well, Jocelyn's not the tallest player in the room, so she has to know to use that rest a lot of the time. But
what
very
a
proficient.
Shot. Oh my goodness.
I'm not sure if the BC Open is going to be on Cloud Snooker. Cloud Snooker is a thing that I'm new to, but the BC Open will be February 17th to 19th, 2023. Love to have you up there, Dr. Snooker. You can get advertisements will be made soon about the BC Open as the season's kind of just getting started.
Second prize behind the green.
Yes, Chuck Jones, I couldn't agree more. Snooker is the greatest game. And Dr. Snooker and anyone else there, if they want to know what's going on in the snooker scene up there in Western Canada and British Columbia specifically, you can email me at snookerdave21@gmail.com. So snookerdave21@gmail.com. Please no spam, please no harassing, but let's keep it clean and light. And if you want to get involved in some snooker action in Vancouver, you can reach out to me there.
That's how Dave and I met, through that email.
It's true, yeah. I do remember Mike telling me once that he just got the bug of snooker and was just so excited by it. And is actually, I think, on CC's recommendation. CCU,
Absolutely.
a great player that owns Empire Billiards, was like, hey, there's this crazy Canuck up in Vancouver. He runs some tournaments and stuff. You should just head up there and see what's going on. And
He didn't use the word Canuck.
just crazy.
Yeah, CC went with me to the first divisional tournament up in BC, the first one for me. Yeah, CC's been a great friend. So I am indebted to him, really. He's the one that also gave me the lead on where to buy these star tables from Ramil and Arizona Snooker Academy. So it takes a whole bunch of people to get these things off the ground.
And it's just that I'm trying to think of the word to explain it, but like one thing leads to another. Like, you know, coming up and knowing that, and you just start talking about snooker. Like, I, discussed with my father that, hey, I'm going to be playing in snooker events or commentating on them, and he's like, I remember that. So then he starts watching it. Same with my mother; they were kind of interested in watching and seeing what this snooker game is all about. Obviously, they were watching a lot of the more pro stuff, but they do turn into these broadcasts, and they're enjoying it. Another friend in Vancouver, a great stand-up comedian, Sam Tonning, came out to a snooker tournament once. We got to get to know each other, and we started to play, and he's inspired his parents that they're really enjoying watching it. So it's just kind of that leapfrog kind of thing. Someone tells one person, and then it just grows that way. Kind of rather organically it grows.
Yeah, Donald, if I can speak to that point, I would say it's a valid point, but we don't have a price difference here. Snooker tables are the same price as the pool tables. So one thing to keep in mind is if you have a quality room with quality equipment, it becomes a destination for people. So you don't really have to have a showroom rent with showroom prices. You can have we're in a basement, and you have to ring a buzzer to get in. It's not the best scenario, but for what we want to do, it works.
And I think obviously these Q sports, it was the hustle game way back in North America. In Britain, billiards was looking a little bit more classy and stuff like that. So there is that worry, obviously, when people say pool hall, dark room, smoke filled, shady characters everywhere here and there. Now, are parents going to want to send their youngsters to that? Probably not. So if we can right the wrongs here, you've done a wonderful job here, Mike. It's bright, it's warm, it's welcoming, it makes a more family environment. Then you're going to see the game expand.
Yeah, we are all ages. As Bex kind of wraps up this match, we are all ages. So Jamie first noticed it before I did, but she noticed the young kids would come in, they would have a few games, and then they would come back with their parents, and the parents would really they wouldn't really play. They kind of just watch everybody, watch the room, see how, an all ages pool hall kind of sounds weird. But, they have a conversation with Jamie or myself, and now with Travis and Damien. They they understand what we're trying to do here. And so the parents do let their kids come here. They want to check it out first. And then, they come on by. We take care of them. We make sure they're safe. And they know that if anything feels strange, they come up and talk to us about it. We got their back. That's the future of the sport.
Yeah, it is tough, obviously, with that rent. You do make a good point there. In Vancouver, it is very pricey, that's for sure, because Vancouver used to have a strong scene. They had Seymour Billiards, Jubilee, Chenier Hall, Potters, like places where you probably, like, I think Seymour Billiards had maybe upwards of 15 snooker tables or something like that. These places were huge, but yeah, definitely the real estate has become so costly that it does make it tough, but maybe some improvisation needs to happen. Like, I like how you're doing it, Mike. It's kind of a private club. Like maybe in Vancouver you find some office space that you could fit, 2 tables or something like that, but you have a kind of a club atmosphere where members, have a certain buzz code or something like that they can get in.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing that we have to sell is table time and drinks and snacks. But table time, there's only a finite amount of time per day. So for us to be 24 hours and for the members to kind of work their tables by themselves without, using technology to pay for the tables when we're not open, we take advantage of the entire 24 hours a day rather than just while we're open. And so if anybody out there is interested, just give me a call. I can show you how we're doing it. There are no secrets really in this world. So might as well just share what we know with people who want to do the same thing.
And I think it takes commitment behind the scenes as well. Mike, you've done a fantastic job with these tables. The club that I play in, I do a lot of tournaments out of Jonathan Sun's place, Top 147 Snooker and Billiards Lounge in Richmond. But I play out of a club in Vancouver. It's a servicemen's club, and there's 2 snooker tables there. But I have a passion for the game. I really enjoy the game, so I want to, as this club is close to my home and that's my home turf, I want to, give the best conditions for the table. So I take the time to brush them or block them or and push through to get good conditions on our table. And it turns around. You see a lot more people coming in that when they know that there's good conditions and there's people taking care of the tables, they will want to come in.
This is a good condition here for Jocelyn.
Nice segue.
Yeah. You like that? Oh, goodness gracious.
Sure, we apologize that we've been going on a tangent. I know there's a match right in front of us.
It's a good one, too.
But we've been prompted by some good questions on the stream, and that's the importance, is audience participation that
Absolutely.
we really enjoy as well, because we want to keep you wonderful people informed of what's happening in snooker as well as what you're seeing on the table.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool to message Joe Johnson on Eurosport when he's talking. So we do have a little bit of an advantage here with the stream chat on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So Chuck Jones asks, will we see a future world snooker champion come out of Ox Billiards? Yes. The question is when. If we can hang out for another 20 years, I think we have a chance. And all of a sudden, my phone is buzzing.
Is it the next world champion?
Oh, no. It didn't go as planned.
Yeah, this is Bex's frame ball right here with 28 in it. If this red goes down, it does now on the snooker required stage.
Should just roll up on this blue. What do you think? What is she looking at? Oh, she's looking at the pot.
Yeah, good angle on that blue to come up and disturb the yellow. Wow, that's a great shot.
Yeah. Great showing by Jocelyn. Bex is the more experienced player. So, but still, I think Jocelyn did a great job in this match.
It's just going to do wonders for her confidence. I'm sure she may have lost, but she's lost to actually a world professional player.
Yeah.
I think Bex is ranked 3rd in the world on the women's circuit. 4th. My apologies. Thank you. But she might be 3rd at the end of this. This is a ranking event. There's some good ranking points.
That's very true.
And Rianne and Anyi and Mink are not here.
They are not here. They're here in spirit, for sure.
Maybe Bex did a little mind games over there. Oh, don't come. It's just, it's America. It's, you
It's
know.
a long trip.
Jet lag.
No, it would have been wonderful to have Rianne, Mink, and Andi here. Our goal is to get them in for next year. What's going on here? We have a little bit of a conversation going on.
Well, 25 on the table. That would...
They're looking at the
snookers
concession.
required. Yeah, the concession rule, as in this tournament, if there's 3 or more snookers needed, when the colors are on the table, then it's an automatic concession. But with 36 and 25 on the table, she would need 3 snookers, but she'll need more. She's got 1, but
it's a good save. But Beck should be able to get this.
yeah, with these high power players, sometimes, you know, as the scoreboard would say, you need 3 snookers to get back and win the frame. But most of the time, you have to lay about like 6 or 7.
Right. Have them stick. Now, I'm an American that plays snooker, so my philosophy would be to pot the bulk colors and try to get a snooker on the more high value colors. And that's probably like the wrong way to think about it, but you're going to need those bulk colors anyway at some point. So if you can pot them.
Yeah, it's one of those head games with the game. It's because, you know, now there's a lot more balls on the table. Well, now they're slowly going down. So there's more of a chance you hit the wrong ball. But then, as you say, you know, when there's some shorter amount of balls there, there's less of a shot to hit. So
yeah. I guess the table, though, if the table's set up a certain way, maybe it makes a decision for you.
Because and there's a concession anyway.
Is that it? Yep.
Looks like Bex is going to be taking that group. She'll definitely be moving on. And Jocelyn, unfortunately, is defeated, but she still should be moving on to the knockout round. So maybe these two will see each other again. We're just maybe set up a little bit of bonus coverage. We're going to go over to Marissa Du and Stephanie Jokulik on table 2. They're in the 3rd frame. They're into the colors. Marissa Du has a 56-28 advantage. So as soon as Mike gets everything just tweaked up and ready to rock, we'll be over there. There's the visual. He'll just update the score, and we're in business.
Yeah, I guess at this moment, just once again, thank you to our sponsors, Littman Lights, Strachan, and Microsoft.
So that brown is just sitting over the pocket there, so Stephanie definitely is going to want to take that one. God, she hit the horn there. This could be a great frame chance here for young Marissa. 13 years young. She's playing like a seasoned vet over there. Ice in her veins. So I think that might do it there. So that 7 she has there, that's going to make it 63. 33 with 18 on. I think that's in the 3 snooker concession stage there. Doing a little arithmetic. Both looking at it. Not sure if for a referee, Dave Daly is going to take a look over there. He's the police chief over there, that's for sure. When it comes to the law, it's all about Dave Daly. He's doing a fantastic job. He's really been on his feet all weekend long. So we really appreciate his help. And he's letting them know. So there's the handshakes, there's the concessions. So Marissa, that's an important victory there. So I think, unfortunately, Stephanie Drakulik, she's still going to be in the Challenge Cup, which will be going on. But Marissa could possibly be punching her card into the knockout, as there's some third-place wildcard spots, as it's 3 groups of 5. The top 2 are moving on, so that's 6, and we have 2 third-place finishers that will complete the 8 knockout rounds. So definitely take a look at Women's Snooker or snookerscores.net to find all the results to see who's moving on. It's David Burney. There's a great shot there of the whole room. You can see what's happening there, and I think we'll be saying goodnight to everybody. Hope you get home safe, but please join us for Championship Sunday tomorrow. The stream all starts at 3 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Or at Ox Billiards, Seattle, Washington. If you're in the area, come on down. And this is David Burney saying good night, everybody.